إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبقها الصلوات. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا عينا يشرب بها عباد الله بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا يوفون بالنذر ويخافون يوما كان شره مستطيرا ويطعمون الطعام على حبه مسكينا ويتيما وأسيرا إنما نطعمكم لوجه الله لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا شكورا صدق الله العلي العظيم. رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبقها صلوات.
Ahsant, Brother Hussein, for that beautiful recitation. It's an honor and a blessing to see so many brothers here at the center. For those that have not been here before, or it's your first time here, you may not be aware, but we have been closed for about 2.5 years. Whilst we've been working on the refurbishment and the damage of the mosque. We had extensive damage all over the place, across the walls, the roof, across the floor. It was like a massive crack in the cement. So all of this has been worked on in the past 2.5 years, and it's all been with the blessings of the donations coming into the center. So alhamdulillah, it's exciting to see so many young people, so many brothers and sisters coming to the center, and especially to honor Sayyid Hussein Makke's program tonight. I need the brothers and sisters to say salawat and move all the way to the front as much as you can, because I can imagine it's going to get very packed today with so many people coming to see Sayyid Hussein Makke's lecture. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So today's lecture and discussion circle is titled Know Yourself to Know Your Lord. The program will consist, inshallah, of the lecture, which will go on until Maghrib. Inshallah, we will pray with Sayyid Hussein Makke, and then there will be dua tawassul, and then we will end with a discussion circle, question and answer session, inshallah. So without delaying the Sayyid any further, please can we welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله يا مظلوم يا غريب كربلاء يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. صلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم. اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا من خزائن علومك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. My brothers and my sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm a Muslim and I'm living in London. I have a beard and I wear a ring, or maybe a sister, I wear hijab. What separates me from any other person outside that is not a Muslim, but that is living in London? Maybe I can say I move up and down 5 times a day, I don't eat pork, and I don't drink alcohol. Is that it? For a lot of people, that's it. That these rules that we think separate us from another person that isn't a Muslim, that's what makes me a Muslim. But that's not why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all of this. He didn't create all of this so you can not eat pork and not drink alcohol and wear a hijab or to have a beard. In fact, the only difference between you and a person who says they're not a Muslim is that you have a beard and you wear a ring. That the way in which you think, the way in which you see the world is the same way in which a non-Muslim sees the world. And if the way in which you see the world is the same way that a non-Muslim sees the world, then you're not really actually following Islam. The number one aspect of following a religion is the worldview, the way in which you see the world. And this is highly underestimated. What a worldview is, a paradigm, the way in which I see the world. If my whole life is built around, and this is something that happens subconsciously, yeah? So it takes a lot of introspection to know if you're doing it. If my whole life is built around the idea that I really need to make some money, which most people in London, because it's really hard to make ends meet, and we have so much to pay for to live from paycheck to paycheck, most of it is, all right, my next business idea, or work, or whatever it is to climb the ladder at the company that I'm at. If most of my time, subconsciously, most of my time in which I use my intellect and my mind is about how I can make money or whatever else it may be, to chase someone that I want to marry or whatever else it is. If that's the main goal that I'm building everything else around, my worldview is built around that center. Whereas the Muslim, this is a side issue. He has to make money, she has to make money in order to live. But there's a central aspect before making money or before trying to win someone over, which is Tawheed, the beginning of La ilaha illallah, which we say every day, but we don't really understand. Because Tawheed means a worldview, the way in which you see the world, in which you are detached from everything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, I'm going to speak today on somewhat of a high level, okay? Because Qasim asked me to speak about a subject that is philosophical. So that's what I'm going to do, inshallah. So hopefully you guys bear with me, and after Salat we have a Q&A, and we can stay as long as you guys want in the discussion. But the idea that we really want to hone in on here is Tawheed. Because the reason why you're born is Tawheed. The reason why you're born is to understand what La ilaha illallah actually means. And it's very different than the translation, there's no God but Allah. Sure, there's no God but Allah. But you know how hard it is for someone to engrave La ilaha illallah on their hearts? It means that you detach from everything other than Allah. Because there's idolatry for Muslims who look like us, who speak like us, move up and down 5 times a day, but they actually are worshipping other than Allah. They worship whatever it is that is the center of their worldview. So a Muslim, before anything else, must have a tawheedi worldview. Before salat, before everything, do you know that your salat is not wajib? It doesn't count, afwan. If there is one main principle that you don't do first before every other principle. So there's no salat without ruku' and no salat without sujood, right? But before ruku' and sujood, there's a principle, if you don't have it, you can't pray. The prayer is not accepted. It's niyyah. That's why we say, nawaitu an usalli salat al whatever it is. By the way, you don't have to even say that. Because no one comes and says, I intend to give a lecture right now. Right? No, I'm coming here, I intended it. You know what I'm doing, I'm giving you a lecture. I don't have to say, by the way, I intend to give you a lecture. You have to say that with salat. But you have to, in that moment, you have to have the intention of coming to pray to Allah. Otherwise, the prayer is not accepted. So the intention is the main aspect of all your ibadat. Sawm in Ramadan, Shahr Ramadan, you can't fast without the intention of fasting for God. If you don't eat and drink without the intention, it doesn't count. So intention is the beginning of Islam. And intention is the secret spirituality of Islam. Because that's what makes seeking money something that can be godly. That's what makes marriage something that can be godly, the intention. So before everything else that I do in my life, before even the ahkam, there has to be a way in which I see the world. And what I'm inviting you to do is to try to see the world through the lens of tawheed, through the lens of la ilaha illallah. So what does that mean? To say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only God. Or someone's meaning is themselves, their pleasures, or to be powerful, or whatever else it is. Everyone has these different meanings. But if they're all subjective, what happens when you lose your power? Or what happens when you lose your kids? La samahullah. If your child dies, you lost yourself. And it's a huge tragedy. That's not what's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to die with the person you love who died. From Karbala, we learn that when that happens, you don't die. You're supposed to move on through that sacrifice, seek it in a way that brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when your central lens is tawheed. So the worldview of a person completely changes who they are. What you believe, by the way, you already have a worldview. You might not even be conscious of it. You're already living based on certain values. There's no escape from it. Whether it's Islamic or not, you have to have it. Basically, it's your answers for why you are what you are. You all have it. But if you don't think about it, then it's happening unintentionally. يعبدون means ليعرفون. So to worship Him means to know Him, to know. So to worship Allah is to know Allah. To know Allah is to worship Allah together. So you were born to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You were created for that. And if you're not living your purpose, you're here for 70, 80 years. If you didn't use those years to get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you wasted your life completely. You are a knower. You're a knower. Not Noah's ark. You're a knower. I always go through this stuff. I kept telling the barbecue sauce. I meant Cource, Source. Right? The knower. You are born and created as a knowing being. That's what you're here for. You're here to know Allah. And if you haven't realized that, and if you're not doing that, then you're practicing Islam incorrectly. Because all of the wajibat that you do is secondary to what we just said. It's all secondary to the intention, the niyyah, which is to know Allah. The reason why you're praying is to use your prayer to know Allah. If it's not bringing you to know Allah, you've got to change the way you're praying. The reason why you're fasting, the reason you pay khums, the reason you don't shake hands, the reason you wear hijab, all of these reasons, this is only the code of conduct which is essential, which we need in our lives. The code of conduct that is part and parcel of the worldview. But the code of conduct without the worldview is useless. What you're doing is you're saving yourself from the fire. You're doing what you're told because you want to be good. But you know what you've reduced the religion to? You've reduced the religion to Christmas. You are basically someone who doesn't want to be on the naughty list. You want to be nice. So you want Santa to deliver us a present. Is that what religion is? And I'm nice, I'm not naughty, I did the good stuff. So I'm on the good list, I go to heaven. And in heaven I can do all the haram stuff but forever. Right? Rivers of wine and women. And that's not what it is. Guys, we got to move up. So Sallallahu Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. This is so beautiful to see so many people, a lot of you that I know, alhamdulillah, in this mosque that we all grew up in, and so many familiar faces. So inshallah, I'll see you all afterwards. But the point of what we're saying here is, before anything else we do in Islam, we have to understand why it is that we are Muslim. The worldview is an essential aspect of that, the Tawheedi worldview. We say, La ilaha illallah. Okay, so what does that mean? What does it mean then? And to know if that's the aim of why I'm here. So we established that's the aim. If you're not doing that, then we're wasting a lot of our opportunity here. To know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an understanding that a lot of us are not used to, because when we were young, our parents tried their best and their parents tried their best, but a lot of the time, this knowledge was kept a secret. Okay? And not a lot of people come across these books. What are we aiming to do? What we're aiming to do is to emulate the Ahlul Bayt, which is the example God gave us. So Allah gave us this book, this message, and Allah gave us the Ahlul Bayt as a physical, human example of what it means to know God. Now, some people, they don't want to follow this. Of course, there are loads of people that choose their own way or another religion. The point is, if you don't follow this, then you're following another prophet. But there's no escape from following a prophet. You either follow a prophet or you make yourself a prophet. There's no escape. So either I follow someone who claims that they have received the divine message, and that message is telling me that I'm a knower, I'm here to know Allah, and this is what I must do. It gives me the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, or I make up whatever it is, or I follow another religion that claims that. Or like, for example, before I came, there was a Hajj that she wanted to leave Islam, and we were talking to her, and then I said, Hajj, nahna kilna abid lillah, we're all servants of God. And she goes, La, ma tqul ana mish abdi. Don't say that I'm a slave, I'm a servant of God. أنت فيك تقول عن حالك عبد أنا مش عبد. You can say that you're a servant, you're a abd. I'm not a abd. I said, okay. طب what are your decisions based on? Because I'm asking her basically what her worldview is. So I said, well, why do you do what you do? Who says what is right and wrong for you? She goes, أنا تابع حالي. I do what I want. So you're a abd of yourself. You're the prophet to you. There's a lot of people like this. There's a brother actually that also wanted to leave Islam we were talking to, and this was just by statistics and probability, not even about truth. So I said, you know what, disregard the fact that Rasulullah might actually be a sent messenger from Allah. Disregard the fact that this might actually be the word of your creator. Let's look at just in terms of how you're going to live your life now. Tomorrow, starting tomorrow, when you're no longer a Muslim, you have to decide what is moral truth from tomorrow onwards. You have to decide what's right and wrong. For me, I know what's right and wrong. Alhamdulillah, I know what I have to do. There's some things that I wouldn't have figured out on my own. Like, I don't know why I prayed Fajr 2 rak'ahs and Maghrib 3 and all these things. Allah tells me, right? But you know what? This way, this system of values that has been sent in Islam, it's built civilizations, it's been working for about 1,000 years, it builds good families. It has a few legends. Let me show you these legends. 1, 2, 3, 4, amazing people. What's your value system based on? From tomorrow onwards? I don't know. I said, right, so you're going to make it up as you go along, right? Yeah. Tomorrow onwards, I'm going to make it up as I go along. I'm like, okay. You know what? That's kind of risky, man. Making it up as you go along, the whole value system to life. I'm going to stick here. Statistically speaking, I'm safer. He stayed Muslim. Just because of that. Just because it's actually safer for him. Because if he doesn't, he's making himself a prophet. Right? And they say religion keeps you enslaved and we're free, but they're addicted to sugar and fast food and those websites online and everything else. You're not really, you're an abd too. I'm just saying I'm an abd of the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-knowledgeable, all-beautiful. And you're an abd of yourself. And you die one day, my master doesn't die. You don't know much. My master knows everything. There's a difference between us. That has to be the difference between us, not my beard and my ring or my hijab. That's not the difference between me and a non-Muslim. It's the way in which I understand La ilaha illallah. And I understand I must know Allah. So then Allah gave me this book and He gave me the Ahlul Bayt. He said, if you want to follow my Prophet, then this is what you have to do. You see these people, this person, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, this person, Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, this person, you have to be like them. And you know what it means to be like them? It means to be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when I say that, people freak out. And there's nothing to freak out about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jameel wa yuhibbul jamal. Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. So He loves the attribute of Himself, His beauty. So you usually understand it as Allah jameel wa yuhibbul jamal, something beautiful on the outside. But that outside thing, where'd it come from? When I say La ilaha illallah, if there's nothing but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where did we come from? Did Allah use clay that's outside of Him and then make me? He made us from His names. His names. Al-Alim, Al-Qawi, Al-Jabbar, Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim. All these beautiful names of Allah, the merciful, the strong, the knowledgeable, Al-Hayy, the ever-living. All of these names are manifested in His creations. So everything that you experience in life, everything, all of your emotions and the people around you and everything that you do, everything comes from the same source, one origin. Everything. La ilaha illallah. And Allah is outside of time. So a lot of time we think that He made us in time. What was He doing before He made us? There was no what was He doing before He made us. Allah made everything at one time, if it is allowed to say time, because it wasn't in time. Allah made, and everything was at once with one will. You were determined, as were your parents. You were determined to be your parents' children and to live in this time, in the same generation as I. Right when Allah determined Rasulullah and determined the angels and determined the mountains and everything else. It was all determined at once. Allah does not have ta'addud. He doesn't have many times in which He creates. Allah creates, can't say created because it's past tense. Allah is the creator, creation. From His names we come. So what you're supposed to do is you want to emulate the names to the best of your ability. You want to attain those names of God. So you become someone who manifests the name Al-Alim. So you have to become the knowledgeable. Why do you love knowledge so much, by the way? Why is it even if you're ignorant, if I say you're ignorant, you get upset? If I say you're knowledgeable and you're ignorant, you get happy? Because you love knowledge, because Allah is Al-Alim, Wallahu Al-Ilm Aydan. Allah is not only the knowledgeable, what's He knowledgeable of? Now, if there's nothing other than Him, then He's knowledgeable of Himself. Allah is all knowledge. That's why you love knowledge, because you love Allah, but you don't realize it. So you think someone dressed like me has knowledge, but truly what it is just something, it's not a humble thing that we give it back to Allah. It's God. It's His name. So you want to receive whatever divine energy there is. Why? Al-ilm nur min Allah. يَقْذِفُهُ فِي قَلْبِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. That's the real knowledge. Allah, knowledge is nur, light. Allah sends it into the hearts of whom He wills. لَيْسَ الْعِلْمِ بِكَثْرَةِ التَّعَلُّمِ. It's not in how much you read. That's just what gives you the ability to receive knowledge. Beauty. You love your wife, you love your husband because they're so beautiful. You gaze at them, wow, they're so beautiful, their face. The beauty is Allah. Huwa al-jamal. This is just a mirror. It's a mirror. Everything is a mirror. Mountains are mirrors. You and I, we're supposed to be the best mirrors because we actually have willpower. Your aim in life is to be the best mirror, the most polished mirror, to most honestly reflect the names of God. That's what your aim is. To most honestly reflect His name means you are the most beautiful creature. That's the most honest reflection of His name. Do you know everything else wants to become a human being? Because they also want to reflect Allah's name to the best of their ability. This wants to become human. This microphone wants to become human. This tissue wants to become human. The trees outside want to become human. Everything wants to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything. All atoms, everything. Allah says in the Quran, everything does tasbih of His names. We don't hear it. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ. You don't hear the tasbih of the names unless the curtains of the unseen were lifted for you. Everything wants to become human because then it has a chance to go to Allah because you are a knower. Because if it becomes human, it's a knower. And guess what? Sometimes it does. Qasim. A seed. I plant it into fertile soil and I water it and it receives some sunlight. It becomes a tree and it bears fruit. It gives me an apple and I eat the apple. The seed became a part of me. The water became a part of me. The sun ray became a part of me. The tree became a part of me. The apple is now a part of me. The apple is going to God now. So is the tree. If I go to God, everything wants to become human to go to Allah. The sad part is if the human being doesn't know haram, the poor apple got stuck with the average Joe that doesn't know what he's doing, right? Everything wants to go to Allah. Everything around us is moving. Why? Because we are in a world of movement. So we are born to know Allah. To know Allah, I must polish my mirror to most best reflect Allah as honestly as I possibly can. And to do that, I must move towards the reflection. Move. Keyword is move. Why move? Because move means from A to B. No longer a world of potential. It's no longer where things become things. It's becoming, it's became. It's you've become. What does that mean? So here, in a world of matter, that's why it's movement. in the world of matter, where there is energy and physicality, everything here is matter, we call it dunya. Why? Because it is alamul dani. It is the lowest world. So if it's the lowest world, it means that it's the world of change and becoming, where things can become other things. In the lowest world, things become other things. Because in higher worlds, there is no potentiality. In higher worlds, they actually are. What do I mean by higher worlds? I'm getting there. Because when we understand this, we understand man arifa nafsah, faqad arifa rabbah. Then we get to know Allah more when we understand the world that we're in. Right now, there is space between us. There's a lot of energy and dark matter and everything else. It's all physical still. This is all physical. I move out of space. I see the planets, the movement of the planets, which creates what? Time. I know time by the movement of the earth rotating around itself and then orbiting around the sun. So then I have 24 hours in a day and 365 days in a year. Okay, so in other worlds, how do you understand time? Because there is no type of planetary movement in another world, or it might have its own movement. So it's different time. All of that stuff. And the other day, I forgot the photographer's name, where they went billions and billions of light years out and looked amazing and beautiful. And you know what light years are? Traveling at the speed of light. Billions of light years away. And even if you were to travel at the speed of light, it would take you billions and billions of years to even get there, and they still don't know what the heck it is. That's still dunya. Because it's matter. Because it's energy. Because it's tangible. Energy is matter. Okay, so if that's all dunya, that means, because I don't believe as a human being in Islam, we are not beings of complete matter. Our bodies here are beings of matter, but our essence is not material. Our essence, that which animates us, that which moves us, it's not material. My essence is greater than everything out of space. My soul is greater than all of that. So you understand what the Imam says? تحسب أنك جرم صغير وفيك انطوى العالم الأكبر. You think you're just a small, tiny entity, but within you all the worlds reside? That's not a poem. That's real. He means it. It's real. The real you, all the worlds reside in you. What are all the worlds? If this is dunya, what's the world beyond dunya? The next world is the world that you go to when you die. Barzakh. Sometimes known as alamul mithal. Sometimes known as alamul khayal, the imaginary world. That world doesn't begin when you die. That world's happening right now. Everyone who's died is already, but it's happening right now. That's a mirror world. Each one of you has a reflection in that world right now. It's the mirror world of who you actually are, for real. It's the real you. And it looks like the real you. You don't look like the real you. You might look really, really beautiful, and your heart might be dark. Or you might not look so beautiful, and your heart might be bright. The mirror world, alamul khayal, reflects who you really are. So right now, if I do a small action, forget haram and halal. It's everything you do. It mirrors the reality of everything. A small action that is bad, it is forming the real me. Because this is the world of movement, that's the world of actuality. So potentially I'm moving somewhere, that's the result. So I'm creating myself. If I do something good, it doesn't happen after you die. You go to heaven after you die, you go to hell after you die. It happens now. Right now I'm planting a tree. And right now I'm starting a little fire for myself. When do I see this? When I die. Because when I die, I'm actually born. When I die, the account of potential is closed, and then the real me is done. I gave birth to myself for real. But whoever I am on that day when I died, that's who I am forever and ever and ever and ever. Do you know some people on that day, you will see them and they will look like animals, monkeys or pigs or creatures we've never seen before. Because that's what they really were. The most beautiful person here might be the most hideous beast. You will see beasts. There are hadith about this. You will see beasts in the next world. They won't leave you alone. And you ask them, leave me alone. How can I leave you alone? I'm you. I can't leave you alone. I'm that action you kept doing, you were addicted to. I'm a beast now, but I'm you. I can't leave you alone. Because you experience yourself when you die. Likewise, you might see angelic beings. And those beings, when you see them, you ask, who are you? You say, I'm Salatul Layl. I'm Surah Al-Kawthar, you used to recite every day. I'm with you, I'm you. You always were with me, I'm always with you, I'm from you. You create you. You create you. You don't die, your body dies. But you live forever. You live forever. Alamat Batba'i says, إِنَّكَ مَخْلُوقٌ أَبَدِي فَعَمَلْ لِلْأَبَدِيَّةِ. You are an infinite creation. So act in terms of infinity. Act with an infinity in mind. That you don't die. You live forever. Forever. Through the worlds. Your body dies. But the real you is being created by you right now. There's a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. You know how much it affects, even it's in the hadith about harming your parents. Harming your parents to the smallest degree. Yani, if you look away from your parents, just with a small dirty look, just do this to them. Just that. That's affecting the real you in the mirror world, happening right now. Right now. In this world, you create. In that world, it becomes. When you die, the becoming is done. So you're here. This is dunya. I'm Hussein. I'm in the physical world, dunya, here. Around this, think of it, it's not like a tower. Think of it more like an onion of layers. Around it, that is alam al-khayal, the world of the imaginary. And you experience it sometimes here. Because when you dream, that dream world, that fuzzy dream state, sometimes you get visits from people who are dead. A lot of the time, that's barzakh. Sometimes it might be because you ate too much halal KFC before you slept. I hope it's halal. But sometimes it's because you have some experience of barzakh whilst you're still here. And sometimes that's why you go through nightmares, because some creatures, they start playing around with you because you're a new baby in that world. You don't know what's going on. You can experience some of that world, and you already have in your dream state. Beyond that, there's another layer above it. It's called alamul uqul. It's the world of complete actuality. It's not connected to this world in that way. It's the world of angels. That's where angels are, because angels were beings not of potential. They were created as they are, forever. They can't even disobey. Do you know what it means not to disobey? We think of it as like, I can't do what Allah told me not to do, but it's more than that. It's you're actualized. You're not a potential being. You don't have a choice. You're actual. Whereas we are potential beings in this world, we are becoming. That's why you can become higher than an angel or lower than an animal. Because an angel has only the intellectual faculty which you have. And an animal has only the desire faculty which you have. So if your angel faculty overcomes your animal faculty, you are higher than an angel because you had something to battle and become. The angel didn't, it just was. But you can also be lower than the animal if your desire faculty overcomes your intellectual faculty. Because you had the ability to be like an angel, but the animal part of you took over. So do you know what that means though? You are all the worlds. Imagine, dunya is your physical state, your body. You experience it with your touch. Alamul barzakh, alamul khayal, the imaginary world. Now you know, that part of you which imagines, that part of you which dreams, that part of you, you experience it. You know that world. That world's a part of you. Also have a part of that in you. The world of your intellect, where you know logical laws like this bottle of water, it cannot be here and not be here at the same time. It either has to be or it isn't. You know that is a fact because it's a law. It's a logical law of non-contradiction. You can't even know anything if you don't believe in that law. You know it, you just don't know that you know it. Which is called compound ignorance, by the way, when you don't know that you don't know. And that's the most dangerous type, because if you tell someone that doesn't know, they don't know. You tell them, they won't believe you, because they don't know. The logical law of non-contradiction, this can't be here and be here at the same time. Or, this can't appear from nothing, like cause and effect. These are laws like 2 + 2 = 4. If we say 5, you think person's insane. So that's a fact. What is that? That's intellect. That is already there, like an angel, like the world of uqul, like becoming, actuality, complete. So you have that. Beyond the world of intellect is the world, they call it alamul wajib, the world of the necessary being, which is, we say, the world of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but really Allah is infinite. It's not a world of any limits, and encompasses everything and all these worlds. It encompasses everything. Huwa ma'akum aynama kuntum. He is with you wherever you are. So encompasses it all. Alamul wajib. But the idea is this: you yourself, they say, as Mullah Sadr says, al-insanu alamun saghir. You are all the worlds in a person. The human being is all the worlds. That's what he's saying. It's a small existential cosmos. وَالْعَالَمُ إِنسَانٌ كَبِيرٌ. And all the worlds is a reflection of a human being, because it has all the faculties that you have. So if you know yourself, if you know these faculties of yourself, if you begin to understand who you are and know why you're here, then you are closer to knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. مَنْ عَرِفَ نَفْسَهُ فَقَدْ عَرِفَ رَبَّهُ. So let me know about the faculties of myself, because if I know myself, I can begin to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is where it starts, yeah? This is the beginning, right at the beginning. You see, the book that I'm using to lecture this topic, this is the first book in several books of philosophy that might take about 15 years to finish. This is the first one. And this is chapter 1.1, 2, and 3. There's about 8 chapters to this book. 1, 2, and 3. Actually, this is only chapter 1.1. Imagine what's left. Imagine how much there is that we don't know. Treasure chests that we don't know about. The world is a reflection of you, and you are a reflection of the world, and really and truly, there is only one. Because there's nothing other than Him. La ilaha illallah. It doesn't mean you're not real, you're real, but you're not real as something that is there and outside of God. You're not outside of God. Because if you're outside of God, that means there's a limit onto God. He's infinite. So He's everywhere, right? He encompassed. That's why we say, where is the Imam? Imam is in dunya right now as a physical body, but he's connected to the world of worship, so he has power over all the worlds. This is the idea in the hadith, we call it the rope between the heavens and the earth. So philosophy is something, but even textually it's something. So you can bring it together. You're not outside of Him, and you're not inside of Him. You can't be inside of Him. Because if you're inside of Him, that means He's made of parts. So He can't be needy of parts. Allah's not needy of anything. Huwa al-ghani. He is the wealthy. Which is why you love money, by the way. Because you think that's wealth. But Allah is the wealthy. So you love Allah. You just didn't know it was God. Everyone loves Allah. They just don't know. They don't know. Compound ignorance. They don't know that they don't know. So really and truly, on our path to Allah, I'm not in Him. I'm not outside of Him. Where am I? I'm me, no? To be continued. If you want to find out more, because I don't have too much time, then there's a series I gave from Muharram, a 6-part series that you can check on the Ja'fari Islamic Center, where I dive deep into this to answer that question. But to just shorten it, because I know you're not going to understand this, but if you say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only real, and I'm not outside of Him, I'm not in Him, what am I? I am the connecting point. There's nothing He's connecting to. There's just a connection. The connection is I. Just a connection. All I am is a manifestation of the names of the only real. Think of the sun, and then think of the sun rays. You are a sun ray. And the way in which you put the shape into the window, and then the sun ray comes in, shines on the wall, you choose your shape. And the whole idea is slowly to remove that shape and understand that there's only the sun. Okay? But there's a real sun ray. It's there. It's just not independent, ever. And it's not the sun. Okay? To use an example. Inshallah, we'll continue after Salat, but before that, we'll just do a short majlis, inshallah, 5 minutes, and then we'll go do wudu, and then we'll pray, inshallah. Sallallahu alayhi Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad.
صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا سيدي يا ابن رسول الله يا مظلوم يا غريب يا عطشان والمختار الثقفي tracked down the killers of Aba Abdullah. He caught a man named Harmala. Before he sought revenge upon Harmala, he asked him, Ya Harmala, how did you contribute to the army of Umar ibn Sa'd on that day? Harmala responded, on that day, Ya Mukhtar, I shot 3 arrows. Where did you shoot the first arrow, Ya Harmala? Harmala responded, Hussein's brother was going back to the tent upon his horse. He had a water container in his arms until we surrounded him and the men cut off his arms. At that moment, I shot an arrow towards him, and the arrow pierced his eye. We took the water container from him, and we cut him off from the camp. Where did you shoot the second arrow? He responded, when Hussein was all alone. He was calling out for help, but there was no reply. We surrounded him and cut him down with swords and spears. He was fighting everyone off who came close to him. So I aimed a 3-pronged poisonous arrow towards his chest, and it pierced his chest, and the poison dispersed within his body, and he fell to his knees. Where did you shoot the third arrow? The third arrow, Ya Mukhtar, pierced even my own dark heart. There was a baby. There was a baby crying out for water. And his father held him in his arms. As the baby looked up towards his father, believing it would drink a drop of water, I aimed the arrow. I aimed the arrow towards the small baby's neck, and the arrow pierced its neck from ear to ear, and the blood dripped out, and the baby flapped its arms, the way a bird flaps its wings when it is slaughtered. And the Father threw the blood into the sky. Ya Allah, do you see what they have done? هل من ناصر ينصرنا؟ هل من معين يعيننا؟ إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون، ولعنة الله على الظالمين إلى يوم القيامة.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. So inshallah we're going to prepare for Salat. Just a few quick points. As I told you at the beginning, the center is going through refurbishment. We're not completely done yet. That's why we've only partially reopened the main hall. Upstairs is the women's hall, and there's a third hall for the youth, inshallah. So with your support and with your blessings, we hope that you will continue to support the center by visiting us and following our programs. There is a card machine and boxes on your way out if you would like to support this masjid, inshallah. So, Hussein, can you please recite a beautiful adhan for us?
الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن عليًا ولي الله أشهد أن حجج الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن علي حجة الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح، حي على خير العمل، حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد، الله الصمد، لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان الله أكبر. بحول الله وقد وأركع وأسجد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك ولين قلبي لولي أمرك وأرن الأشياء كما هي وزدني علما. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله والحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وتقبل شفاعته وارفع درجته بحول الله وقوته. قم وقد واركع واسجد. استغفر الله ربي واتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله والحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
إن الله والملائكة يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
Say dua or something, but we just do it in chat. Like they do like a taqib, or they don't do that. Yeah? No, the brother that recites.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والنجاة من النار ومن كل بلية والفوز بالجنة والرضوان في دار السلام وجوار نبيك محمد عليه وآله السلام. اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك، لا إله إلا أنت، أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد. أشهد أن علي ولي الله. أشهد أن علي حجة الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة. خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد، الله الصمد، لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. يا حي يا قيوم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر، إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربي أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي، وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه، وادخلني برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله والحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد، وتقبل شفاعته وارفع درجته بحول الله. قم وأقعد واركع واسجد. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله. الله أكبر.
سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. يا حي يا قيوم. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. الله أكبر. استغفر الله والحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
Azam Allah ajurkum. I appreciate it's very, very hot and packed in here, so it's extra ajr for you guys, inshallah. I think the best thing in the interest of time is, whilst we're still seated in this way, for us to recite Dua al-Tawassul without moving, without making any preparations, and then we can get into the discussion circle afterwards, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. يا أبا القاسم، يا رسول الله، يا إمام الرحمة، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا جميعا يا وجيها عند الله. اشفع لنا عند الله. يا أبا الحسن، يا أمير المؤمنين، يا علي بن أبي طالب، يا حجة الله على خلقه، يا سيدنا ومولانا، إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله، وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها. يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد يا قرة عين الرسول يا سيدتنا ومولاتنا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيهة اشفعي لنا عند الله يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي يا حسن بن علي أيها المجتبى يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا يا أبا عبد الله يا حسين بن علي أيها الشهيد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن الحسين يا زين العابدين يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا أبا جعفر يا محمد بن علي أيها الباقر يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا أبا عبد الله يا جعفر بن محمد أيها الصادق يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا موسى بن جعفر أيها الكاظم يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى أيها الرضا يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا أبا جعفر أيها التقي الجواد يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها اشفع لنا عند الله يا أبا الحسن يا علي بن محمد أيها الهادي النقي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا أبا محمد يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي أيها الزكي العسكري يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا وجيها يا وصي الحسن والخلف والحجة أيها القائم المنتظر المهدي يا ابن رسول الله يا حجة الله على خلقه يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها يا وجيها يا سادتي وموالي إني توجهت بكم أئمتي وعدتي ليوم فقري وحاجتي إلى الله وتوسلت بكم إلى الله واستشفعت بكم إلى الله فاشفعوا لي عند الله واستنقذوني من ذنوبي عند الله فإنكم وسيلتي إلى الله وبحبكم وبقربكم أرجو نجاة من الله فكونوا عند الله رجائي يا سادتي يا أولياء الله صلى الله عليهم أجمعين ولعن الله أعداء الله ظالميهم من الأولين والآخرين آمين رب العالمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم جميعا اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين
Ahsanta, brother Hussein, for that beautiful recitation. Inshallah, we can begin with a discussion circle. I know the time is getting late. The best way to do this, I guess, if all the sisters, you sort of huddle up in an arc form on that side and the brothers in an arc form on this side, just as much as you can. We'll open up the barriers, and Sheikh Sayyid Afwan, you can take your position here. So if you're staying, if you're leaving, then please ensure you take away your tissues, your bottles of water, and just ensure that you're quiet on the way out. Respect the neighbors. It is quite late, and if you're staying, please can you come to the front as soon as possible, just so we can get started, inshallah. So inshallah we'll get started. If I can please ask, when you're asking your questions, just try to be loud so everyone can hear you, and Sayyid, if you don't mind, repeat the question, just for the people that are on the live stream so they can hear the question as well. Should we take it off? Okay. خلاص. Yeah. So for the people online, unfortunately, we're gonna go offline now for the Q&A, inshallah. We do apologize. Okay. So we've got